These are the Exodus features. It is easy to understand what they are and how they relate to their surroundings when viewed on an elevation map. This map shows the sources of the Exodus Hebrews, which we will go through from the bottom left. The very bottom left in navy blue Ya'ar, the great river Nile. North of there is the great city in the history of Egypt, which is called Noph or Moph in the Bible, Memphis. North of there, the other yellow square is Pithom on Beit Shemesh, Heliopolis. Heliopolis is the sacred city, which is why it was so important to the Hebrews, Memphis being the population capital. So these two cities together and that vicinity is the capital district. You then see a burgundy dashed line. That is the divider of the sphere of influence between the capital district of Pithom and Memphis, and north toward the center, the land of Goshen, and the 5 cities inside of Goshen. Toward the center and the top of the screen, the larger word is Goshen, that's the region. Directly north of the G in Goshen is Raameses, Avaris, the capital of the Hyksos during that time period. Surrounding Goshen, the left below Avaris is Pibaset, Bubastis. To the right of Raameses is Tachbenches, Daphni. North of there is Sa'an Tanis, which would later become the capital. And right of top center is Sin, Biblical Felucium. The Exodus Hebrews from Pithom, the capital district with the yellow boxes, and Ramses, the land of Goshen, the field of Sa'an, the red boxes. They would travel to the center of your screen, the low valley called Sukkot or Sukkot, the Tumilat Valley, then toward what is now the Suez Canal, what was at the time the Canal of the Pharaohs. You can see just right of Tumilat Valley a white dashed line, that is the Migdal, the border wall of fortifications which protected Egypt from invaders to the east. Directly to the right east of that dotted line, you see the word Shur. The word Shur in Egyptian meant wall, that is the wilderness beyond the wall. Down at the bottom of the dotted line, you see at the very bottom, Pei Hechirat Shat al-Bar Suez. That was the place of the actual Exodus crossing specifically. Left and to the west of Pei Hechirat is the encampment, Adabia. That is the place where the Hebrews encamped, because down and to the left, southwest of the encampment, was the large mountain Baal Zephon, the place where the Hebrews had to turn around. Then, to the right of Baal Zephon is Pei Hachirat. Down from there is Marah, Moses Springs, the first stopping point beyond the Exodus crossing. If we take our eyes to the right of center, we see a travel route which is traveled exclusively in Genesis, the way of Shur, that goes to Beer-sheba, Abraham, Jacob, Yosef. This is how they would travel to and from Egypt. And at the top right, we see the words Way of the Philistines, which, as we know, is specifically avoided in the Exodus. Now with the travel routes added in, you can see from the bottom left, leaving the capital district of Pithom and Memphis, the route travels toward Sukkot, the easiest way to travel and the most fertile place to travel when you have livestock and you require water. This is always extremely important in the Bible. Through Sukkot, past the canals of the Pharaohs, to Suez, likewise from the land of Goshen and the cities of Raameses through the Sukkot Valley down to Pei Hachirat, which is Suez. The route to the west, left around from Suez, leads to a dead end at Baal Zephon. leading to the Exodus crossing at Pei Hachirat, Suez, down to Raameses Springs, and on to Mount Sinai. Here on this slide you can truly see the details of the Exodus crossing, beginning from the left. The mountain Baal Tzafon, the barrier to that travel route along the western shore of the Red Sea, and the encampment, which is now the port city of Adabia. Before the Suez Canal, this was a major port for all of Egypt. The path then turns around from Adabia back toward the yellow X at the top. There is a navy dashed line coming down from the top to the X. That is the Shat al-Bar. That is the actual waters which came down, that have since been replaced by the Suez Canal. But that is the actual Pei Hachirat, the mouth of the Reedy Gorge and the Exodus crossing. The area which is now the Suez Canal is located where the Migdal, the border wall, was in the past. On either side was Atam, often spelled Etham. That is the desert which is salty and brackish, which continues down along the right side of the Red Sea, along the way of the Red Sea wilderness, to Raameses Springs. Those are the bitter and brackish springs, the first water source beyond the Exodus crossing. And here we have the features following the road to Mount Sinai from Suez, following natural and highly traveled features. Top left, Raameses Springs, where the water is brackish and bitter. Across a long distance, next down to Elim, where the Harandel stream crosses the road and the water is sweet and good. Beyond the Red Sea to Sin, Be'er Marcha, the well of Marcha, and then to Dafaka, source of the copper which would fuel the Bronze Age, to the next water source, the great Faran Oasis, which is still the great oasis of that region today. On to the place where the Hebrews rise up, to Raphael stream, Rephaim, and to the rocky mountains of Horeb, which you can see in the red and white. Where is Mount Sinai? That is the rocky landform. To the mountain itself, Mount Sinai. These are the features of the Exodus, for the first time ever displayed on an elevation map. All of the names in the Exodus, from Pithom and Raameses through Pei Hachirat, which is the Exodus crossing, down to Mount Sinai itself. I am Daniel Adam Fink, Torah teacher. Torah is the Bible and related traditions. Shalom Chaberim.